All right, so when does the Bible give authority for people other than God? So does God ever give the authority to anyone else to exercise that same action? In Romans chapter 13, I'll open that up real quick. Romans chapter 13 says, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain, for he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Okay, so then this goes on. This is basically submission to authority, but it admits that God has given the power of the sword to the government. So the government does have the power of the sword. Therefore, when a soldier is killing in war, it's not murder. Anyways, so I would say that this is grounds to say that there's a distinction, biblical distinction between killing and murder. God gives the authority to kill to the government to be rightly exercised, not that the government can just kill whoever they want. Say, okay, do the citizens have the authority to defend themselves lethally with firearms? But in the American context, that authority given to the government by God, biblically, Romans chapter 13, the American government has actually deputized its citizens to bear arms. It's not that God himself came down from heaven with the Second Amendment and God says, thou shalt all have guns, but the government themselves, and not just in the Second Amendment, but also in Supreme Court cases, it has been decided that the government has extended that authority to take a human life to its citizens in certain contexts, in defense of self, in defense of property, and in defense of others. The government gives a sword to you and says, in this context, it's okay. Is the government wrong to do that? And that's a question that I ask